Hey, Cub fans. Thanks for joining us here on Cubs 24/7, where Randy talks Cubs. Cubs win tonight 12-2 over the Rockies, and we ended up singing in the rain at the end of the game. The rains held off the whole game, started to come down pretty good in the ninth inning, but we got through it, no delays, so that's good news. Cubs up their record to 3-2 with 3 consecutive wins. And this Rockies team's not very good. I don't follow the Rockies that much, so I don't know if I can, really speak to how bad they might be. But they don't look real good. They struggle defensively, and not a lot of guys in the lineup that are too scary. Chris Bryant is hitless on the season, so Chris doesn't look good. Although we hit him twice tonight. But we need to beat the Rockies tomorrow. We've got the Dodgers coming in for a weekend series on Friday, and we need to sweep this series with the Rockies. So I know we clinched a win of the series tonight, but we need to sweep this thing tomorrow night. So tonight, Cubs 12, Rockies 2. We had 14 hits, walked 7 times, only struck out 6. We left 10 on base, so we had a ton of traffic. We hit 333 with runners in scoring position, 5 for 15, so that was good. So we started what I'll consider possibly our lineup against lefties. Rockies had a lefty on the mound, and so the starting lineup went like this. Nico at second base leading off. Seiya was in right field hitting second. Belli in center field hitting third. Christopher Morel was DHing in the cleanup spot. Dansby at shortstop hitting 5th. Happer was in left field, dropped down to 6th. Garrett Cooper got a start at first base, and Garrett had a big night playing first base hitting 7th. Nick Madrigal got the start at third base hitting 8th, and Miguel Amaya behind the plate in the 9-hole. So we scored a bunch of runs. We scored in, looks like about 7 innings. So let's go through the scoring. I'll talk about what everybody did. Several Cubs had some pretty big nights. So let's do the scoring first. We got 2 in the first. Nico led off the game with a walk, and Seiya followed him with a monster, just a demolished line drive home run to dead center. I mean, I don't want to exaggerate, but he may have hit it as hard as he possibly can, because it was 115 mile per hour exit velocity, which is the highest exit velocity of any ball that Seiya has hit since he's been in the major leagues. I mean, he crushed it. Just a line drive in the basket, dead center, about 414. So that's the 2 runs in the first. We got another run in the second inning. Garrett Cooper tripled, hit a fly ball off the wall and right, and lugged around second. And I was ready. Freddie was going to fall, to be honest. You know how the big guys get when they round second. They get a little bit of a hitch in it. But he held it together and ended up with a stand-up triple. Then Madrigal came up behind him, had a solid single to left to score Coop. So that's the 1 run in the second. We got 3 in the third. Christopher Morel led off the third inning with a home run. Nice solid line drive left field, his second. Then Dansby singled and Hap singled. And then Madrigal singled as well, but both runs scored because of another error on their center fielder. So Dansby and Hap scores from first base, and I think they actually gave Nick a double. Like if you look in the box score, you might see that they gave Nick a double in the third. I wrote it down as a single because that's more descriptive of what it was. It was just a line drive that hit in front of the center fielder. He got too close to it. The short hop ate him up, and it went by him. So the official scorer gave him a double, but in my mind, it was a single, the way it would look visually. We got another run in the fourth inning. Bellinger had I'm going to call it a bloop single. It was a pop-up behind the third baseman, and it was pretty windy. In fact, I'll give you that. 17 to 20 mile an hour wind going from left to right, about 47 down to 43 degrees late. So it's cold and windy, and Belli hit this pop-up behind third baseman, and he struggled with it, and it dropped. So they gave him a single, but Belli wasn't hustling. He should have been on second, but he pulled up at first base. Dansby followed it with a single. Hap singled, and then Belli scores for the 1 run in the 4th. We got 3 more in the 6th. Morel walked, Happ walked, and then Cooper hits a opposite field line drive home run to the right center field gap. So that's a triple and a home run for Coop, scoring runs. And then we got 2 finally in the 7th. Seiya had a really nice hard line drive single to right. And then Belli came up and knocked one off the scoreboard and right. And it was a really interesting at bat because for this Cub crowd, they sense things. In Wrigley is the most responsive to the conditions of the game of any place I ever watch games. And it was kind of it was interesting how the crowd, for whatever reason, we're up 10-2, and Belli's, they start chanting Cody, Cody, Cody. And it was kind of out of place. It just didn't make sense. A pitch later, he just hits this monster off the scoreboard in right field. It was such a Wrigley moment is what that was. Just so fantastic. But Cody Bellinger, belly bomb off the scoreboard. So that's the scoring. 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, 3 in the 6th, and then 2 in the 7th. Let's talk about everybody individually. Nico went 0 for 3 officially, but he walked twice and got hit by a pitch, so he reached 3 times. He still kind of the same. I felt like he calmed down, especially early in the game. His first 2 at bats with the walks, I felt like he had calmed down, but he's still hitting 118, 0 for 3 tonight. So we're still waiting for Nico to kind of pop out of it. Seiya went 2 for 4 with a walk, and he struck out in the 5th looking, but it was a great at bat. It was full count, and he took a pitch that was high. According to Pitch Track, it was a good 2 or 3 inches up, and the ump rung him up. So he went 2 for 4 officially. He's now hitting 273, but he looked really good tonight at the plate. Belli went 2 for 5 with the home run. Bellinger's hitting 263 currently. Christopher Morel went 1 for 4. He had that home run in the 3rd. He's hitting 381, but a couple of interesting notes. He walked tonight, Morel, and that was Christopher's first walk. So here we are, 5 games in, and he's hitting 381. He walked for the first time, but did you know that he's only struck out 1 time? If Christopher Morel is going to strike out at this low rate, and you look back at his at bats, and it makes sense. He's not really chasing. He's not flailing away. He's trouble. So only struck out once. He got his first walk tonight. He just barrels things up, and he just hits home run. He just looks so under control, and he looks like our best hitter currently. So Christopher Morel, 1 for 4, 381. Dansby got 2 hits tonight, couple of singles. He's hitting 313 now. Ian Happ went 2 for 4 with a walk. He's hitting 421, Ian. And Garrett Cooper, guys, he went 3 for 4 tonight. Had a triple, a 3-run home run, and then he doubled again in the 8th inning on a line drive down the right field line. Cooper's hitting 500. Garrett Cooper. So that's really good news. He looks like he's got a lot of pop, opposite field pop too. Nick Madrigal went 2 for 5. Nick's hitting 300. Nick made a really nice play at third base, diving to his right, hard hit ground ball down the line, dove, caught it clean, popped up, threw a 1 hopper over to Garrett at first base. Nick looked good. And his 2 for 5, he actually hit the ball harder than the 2 for 5. In the 6th inning, he hit a line drive right back at the pitcher that he hit flush, and it just found the pitcher's glove. I mean, it was boom, boom, and it found the pitcher's glove. So Nick had a really good night. Looked good defensively, barreled the ball up, and he was integral in a lot of our scoring. He's hitting 300. Amaya went 0 for 5. We're not getting anything out of our catchers, guys. Amaya's hitting 222. He goes 0 for 5 tonight. So between him and John Gomes, we're not getting much from offensive production behind the plate. But of course they're doing a great job behind the plate defensively. So they'll come around. But as of right now, we just haven't got much out of the catching spot. So offensively, that's the story. Let's go to the good news on the mound. Javier Assad. I'll give you the numbers, and then I'll talk about what happened. But Javier Assad goes 6 innings, pitches. He threw 89 pitches total, only gave up 4 hits, struck out 5, and walked 1. And he was just pumping the strike zone. 60 of his 89 pitches were strikes. And he was something of a delight to watch. I'm a little bit of an old school fan, and I like watching pitchers. So Javier Assad doesn't have 98-mile-an-hour heater, but he's got 5 pitches. And what was interesting about it was he was locating these 5 pitches, and he has this 2-seamer that he waited. I should have wrote down the innings, like the 4th inning, before he showed it. And he threw this backdoor 2-seamer that had arm side run and locked this guy up. But he's throwing 4-seamer, he's throwing sinker, he's throwing the slider, he's throwing his changeup, the 2-seamer. So he's got 5 pitches that he seems to command, and range from about his 4-seamer, I think, topped out at about 94 miles an hour tonight. And he threw a change that was down to like 83. So about 10 miles an hour top to bottom from the range of his pitches, and he just used them all and used them really well. So he was very efficient. He had 22 pitches in the 2nd inning. He hit a guy and walked a guy, had a little bit of traffic but worked his way out. Other than that, it was pretty clean. So Javier Assad did really well. Now we got Javier Assad, and we got what Imanaga did. And I know it was against the Rockies, and I get it. So we're going to have to see more from both of them against some of the tougher teams, but that's what happened tonight with Javier. Another side note on Javier, that was Javier's 19th start of his career, and he's got a sub-3 ERA at 2.94. It's Javier Assad. We might have something. Jose Cuas comes in, pitches the 7th and the 8th. Not real clean. He gives up a 2-run home run in the 7th. Hit a couple guys. He came in and it wasn't a leverage situation, and I don't know, maybe he just wasn't quite. It was cold, so adrenaline, maybe whatever it was. But Cuas struggled, but he got through the 2 innings, giving up just the 2 runs. And then Luke Little came in, pitched the 9th, walked a guy, threw 12 pitches, 8 strikes, got out of it. Double play sped things up for him. So Luke Little had a really good outing as well. So we've got Dodgers coming in this weekend. We've got the Rockies, 3rd game of the series tomorrow night. Then we've got Thursday off. They don't have a starter listed officially, but the thought is Ben Brown will somehow be counted upon to eat a lot of those innings. Whether he starts or not, we don't know. But they're sort of thinking Ben Brown is the guy who's going to be responsible for eating 5-6 innings, hopefully, tomorrow. So that's the good news from Wrigley tonight. Cubs 12, Rockies 2. Garrett Cooper, Bellinger, Morel, Seiya. A lot of guys had good nights. So, guys, thanks for joining us here on Cubs 24/7, where Randy talks Cubs. And we'll talk to you tomorrow night after the Cubs sweep this series against the Rockies. Go Cubs, go.